this. Welcome, everyone, to another spectacular week here in John Lavenia Success Mastermind. I am John Lavenia, as you no doubt have guessed. And we got a few people joining us live today. And we got, here comes some more. Here comes some more people. Welcome, everyone. Happy solstice. I believe that's today. I don't know the exact moment where you are on the planet and this and that, but summer solstice here in the Northern Hemisphere, which makes it the first day of summer, and winter solstice down under, right? So our friends in Australia, Africa, South America, first day of winter for you. So I'm glad to be here with you all. Actually, it has been full on summer here in Arizona. It's been like record breaking heat. It was 118 Fahrenheit for the last couple of days. What's that? 47 Celsius. Crazy stuff. I was riding my Harley and just going down the road. I just go to the hardware store to get some nuts and bolts. And it feels like, riding in a blow dryer, like riding with a blow dryer right in your face on your whole body, plus the heat of the bike itself. But I'm really glad to be here with all of you. And I am, let me go ahead and announce a couple of things that we're going to be doing this week. I was actually on our membership site. Let me pull that up for you here and do a little show and tell. This is especially good for any of our friends who are tuning in via YouTube and do not yet have a membership. You deserve to have one. And all you got to do is go to JLSuccessmastermind.com. When you log in, you find here's all of our stuff. Here is the live sessions that we've got. We've got so much going on in this community. Look at all this stuff we've got. We got Life and Business Tools with Adrian Garner, Networking Magic with Glenn Henderson, our book study. We are on part 4 of 5 with psychocybernetics, which of course you can always just click the link and you can figure out what book we're on. There it is. You can buy it right there. Hooray. Brand Builder with Shannon, Global and Tactical Marketing with Mark Riggle. Look at all this stuff. We got meditation, e-commerce. This is happening today, by the way. Today, we've got our e-commerce work group with Emma and Neil. Thursdays, we do yoga. We got Wayne on Tuesdays with Metaphors for Success, practical entrepreneurial tips. Actually, integrative health is suspended for the summer. We'll see Therese back after that. Corporate Curios with Ivier. Hooray for us. So what do we got going on today? I'm in America, so I'm going to click on the American calendar and hopefully it will load. And here it is. And we've got Monday, the 21st. That's us. Look at that. We're on general session right now. And then we got our hospitality suite, which is open all day, e-commerce work group. And tonight at 9 p.m., here's our book study. So good stuff. And of course, here's all our recordings and here's people. And I wanted to just put your attention on this real quick. Some people don't know this is here. Okay. Of course, here's our reading list, right? Here's all the books that we're reading, right? We're on this one right now. But I want to put your attention on this. We archive all of this stuff. So any of these titles you click on, I wound up changing colors at the end of November. I wound up colorizing it to match, our logos and all that. But they're all clickable links. And look at all this content. This is just the second half of 2021. Look at this. It's all in here, right? So dig in. If you're ever in a spot where you're, thinking, you know what, I'm just going to go back and I'm just going to look at titles. And I'm going to click one of them. And I'm going to go back in time and experience it just as it occurred live with you on it, probably. In fact, maybe you'll hear yourself talk. It's kind of cool. That's the beauty of mastermind groups and participating. And then, of course, archiving all this stuff is that you can go back in time and you can actually see where you were, at least in terms of that topic, right? What level of thinking you were applying or considering or discovering at that point, and then where you're at now. I have the experience of journaling, which some of you do, which I'm currently not doing on a regular basis, but I could, because it's really good stuff. And I did this for a couple of years straight. And what I discovered was that looking back on journals, here's the beauty of it. You can look back on journals and discover that you're possibly reading the best self-help book ever written, because it's right out of your brain, and it's very real, very real. There's nothing unreal about that, and you may be startled. You may see, oh wow, is that what I was experiencing 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Is that what I was fixating my attention on? Is that what I was getting all frazzled about? And there's 3 things you could journal on if you want to like get into this. Adrian's putting jokes in the chat. I'll be on your joke in just a minute, my friend. There's 3 things you could journal about. If you're one of the people like myself who's like, well, what do I write? Okay. And as an author, right? That's a question that comes up a lot. Okay. But what do I write? So your challenges for the day, right? So what challenges did you have? Okay. Your wins for the day, right? What successes did you have? And what did you learn that day? Something you learned. Challenges, wins, and what you learned. Those 3 things. And it's not like you need to write out, this entire book. You could do this digitally as well. Although there is the argument for taking pen to paper and, the objective therapeutic, action of doing that. My penmanship sucks. Fortunately, I can read my own writing, but yeah, right. You can do that. So my challenges for the day. Here's all the problems that I had to solve or didn't solve or got upset about or whatever, right? So look back at your day, your wins for the day. Here are the victories that I had, right? Here are the dones. Here are the things that were accomplished, right? So acknowledgement is important. And what I learned that day, the importance of that is that now you can write that down in such a way that in your own words. Do you think this might make it more usable? And do you think it also might make you more able to then communicate that with others, these learnings, right? People ask me, sometimes about where I got all this, these ideas from. Well, there's one of my bookshelves, right? But most importantly, here's, my attempt to actually use this stuff in life and make it workable. And then be able to explain stuff in a way that other people can hopefully use it as well. And I don't know that makes me special or anything. That just makes me someone who's actually attempting to have integrity to principles, right? I wrote a whole book about it. You can read that too if you want. But the the idea that you don't understand a thing until you can explain it to someone else so they can understand it, that seems to may not be absolute, but that kind of holds water for me. I like that, right? So if you can do it in a person, that's a pretty good indicator. It's also learning something every day is also one of the easiest ways, maybe the easiest way to improve one's self-esteem. To recognize that you're, as Emile Coué reminded us, the French psychologist guy, he said, every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. Every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. What did I learn today? See that? I'm better right there in that one way. Evidence. Thank you. I'll take all the evidence I can get. And yes, I've got bias. And so we know we all have confirmation bias. Great. Let's use it to our advantage. Look at how much better I am today. I learned something, right? We got to stack the deck in our favor, and we've got to be able to quantify and objectively look at the successes and the learnings that we've had, and also how we've dealt with or are learning to deal with our challenges. You do this, and then you can start assisting other people in doing this. And look, I've got to live on this planet with all these other people, so I really want to assist other people in creating success as well. Sometimes people look at, successful people or those who have reached, above mediocrity or who get above average results, and have some consideration about it, like they're lucky or selfish or whatever the story is. And it's a story that comes from ignorance. Okay. Because I could tell you that the more successful we become, and I'm sure you're all experiencing this as well, as you have victories in your life, right? Do you not intend for others to have victories? I mean, you got to live here with these people. You like living in a crazy planet, which we are, right? Or would you like to, have a bit of harmony, law and order and all that kind of stuff, other people succeeding as well, economies that work, right? People that can cooperate. Yeah, sign me up for that. So success is bigger than just you. Anyway, that being said, Sharon gave me an idea today. And the idea is what it takes, or whatever it takes. I remember having a conversation with one of my juniors in a marketing thing where I was like sales manager, and they were newer to the operation. And I was talking to them about their goals, which they had goals, which is a very good thing, right? It's kind of hard to hit a target if you don't have one. So I was talking to them about their goals, and I was talking to them about the amount of effort that they estimated would be necessary to reach their goals. This is part of experiencing victories in your life, is correctly estimating the amount of effort it takes to accomplish something. Right? We could say that errors that we make are incorrect estimations or efforts, and overdoing stuff, underdoing stuff. Anyway, I was talking to this person about their goals and what they think it would take to get it done. And they said, very great, quickly, no hesitation whatsoever, whatever it takes for as long as it takes. I thought, oh, wow. Okay. So there's nothing vague about that in terms of, I mean, the quantity is vague in terms of, well, do we know what it's going to take? No, not exactly. But we know that we're willing to go to any lengths to accomplish the goal. I remember when I was new to this whole field of personal development, there was this idea of going to any lengths to overcome the situation that people found themselves in. In the case, with my entry into this whole, space of philosophy and personal development and self-improvement was via, 12-step fellowships, the whole, the doctrine of, getting sober and off of alcohol and drugs and that sort of thing. Right. So in that world, right, not doing whatever it takes or not going to any lengths, in other words, having a milquetoast or half-hearted approach, your next stop could be the casket, right? That could be your next stop. And I've had many friends who I got to attend their wake or their funeral, right? They didn't quite go to any lengths, right, to arrest that, that addiction, that situation. And so, I at an early stage, I found myself kind of like all or nothing, which isn't, by the way, that's not healthy, and there are no absolutes. Okay. So we ended our week last week by talking about, enjoying life a bit too, actually having some fun time, and not being, constant striving. I mean, that doesn't sound like fun. Now, if we enjoy our work, and hopefully we do, I know I do, it doesn't even feel like work. What do I do for fun? I work. It's awesome. But I also get on the Harley, experience the, the desert blow dryer effect, and play with my daughter and do the other stuff as well. But I had a reckoning where I noticed that, what, this is going to serve me in other areas of my life too. Taking an approach that is, let's say supreme, not quite absolute, but a supreme approach, a definiteness of action and a definiteness of willingness to fulfill a purpose. This has been huge for me. We could also call that work ethic, can't we? Right? Is that like a new idea to anyone? If we have a work ethic, we're going to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. So what does it take? Because that, there's not an actual quantity there, except, get it to fruition, right? That's the goal, the one and only goal. That's it. Whatever it takes for as long as it takes. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, fine. Now, we don't always know the quantities. We can't always correctly estimate what it's going to take. Okay. But if we know that we shall not be denied that which is my guaranteed future outcome, I am going to experience that success. I'm going to experience that win. If we know we're willing to do that, then here's the consideration. And this is what Sharon just reminded me of before we got on here. And that is to keep it in present time. In other words, and this is Wallace Wattles said this in The Science of Getting Rich, you can't do tomorrow's work today. Yesterday's gone, right? And there'll be plenty of time for tomorrow's work tomorrow. We must act in the now. Now, the only reality, now. And now, when I look at conditions, circumstances, situations, tools, opportunities, right? I look at the material, right? Here we have, my computer, right? I got a phone, I got a body, I got a planet, right? All right, so here's the stuff we're working with. Cool. And if we can just get in present time with that right now and be a bit more objective than subjective, my goodness, how much more effective we can be. That just came out of my mouth. If we can get objective rather than subjective, we can be more effective. Yeah, I like that. Oh man, John Lavenia isms are happening right before your very eyes. When we're projecting, okay, and I don't know if I'm the only person who has the tendency to do this. Oh, but what if this doesn't work out? Oh, look, this is a persistent problem, right? This happened in the past. So now I'm in the past. Oh, you know what? How is this going to happen a month from now? Now I'm in the future, right? And I've got all this story about it, right? I've got all these projections, not only memories, but also projecting into the future. What am I doing? Am I in the present moment? This may sound too basic, but oh my goodness, am I working with what is, or am I trying to work with what should be? Well, that shouldn't have happened back then, right? And this should be the conditions or circumstances, in the future. And because they aren't right now, I'm thinking they won't be again later. Has anyone ever encumbered themselves with all this projecting thought, reaching into the past and future and kind of crapping all over today? If we can just, you can actually do this as an exercise, right? If we can just get oriented, like I just kind of did. Oh, here's the computer. Okay, here's my phone, right? Oh, there's my desk. This may sound silly, my friends, but just being in present time with your stuff, with your materials, your tools, your working, apparatus, enormous, right? To get yourself centered. This week, I suppose we could even call this a form of meditation. There was this guy who called himself Ram Dass, who wrote a whole book, kind of a wacky book too. It was called Be Here Now. That was the title of the book, Be Here Now. I suppose if you get the title of the book, you don't need to read the rest of the book, although there's pictures and drawings and everything. I think he was on LSD when he wrote it, and which he later said that wasn't the path. I was on the wrong path with that. Don't do LSD. But the idea that you could just be here now and do what it takes right now, and then get to my favorite four-letter word, done, right? We can get to a done. And now that item is in the past, and we no longer need to put our attention on it. So the question then is, are we on an upward spiral with our thoughts, emotions, actions, and results? Or are we on a downward spiral? I want you to think about this as it relates to being here now, okay? And when we're on a downward spiral, let's go with the negative one first. Where what? We have thoughts about failures. We fixate our attention on the past, or fears of the future, or things that are not in present time. Not in present time. Not. Okay. So now I've got thoughts about these troubling ideas or conditions, right? That are not in present time. And I get emotionally involved with them. Oh man. Fear, grief, upset, anger, antagonism, apathy, right? Down. Action? Well, what actions come from do any intelligent actions come from a fearful mind or an angry mind? Have you ever seen a person who's normally, quite productive, but now they're angry and they're just like breaking stuff? Is that real for you? Can you picture that? Right? Is that productive action? No. Their emotional state is causing counterproductive action, right? And then there's the result, right? Broken stuff, undone, right? Problems, additional negative circumstances, which we can then look at, because now those circumstances are in the past. That was 30 seconds ago. Right now we can look at that and we can say, oh, here's my thoughts about that. That's crappy too. So let me get emotionally involved in that, and down we go, down, 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 down. Downward spiral. Easy to do. Easy, easy, easy. You don't need any training for that. As I've sometimes said, you can grow weeds in the garden effortlessly. Effortless, right? Do nothing. Weeds will grow, assuming there's any water, right? It's like the driest year in 100 years here in the desert Southwest, also the hottest. My goodness. So if you guys got some rain, England, send us some rain. All my English friends, where it rains every friggin' day, send us some of that. All right. Like a cloud makes the news around here. So What's the upward spiral? Well, it would be, I'm going to say the exact opposite, but I'm going to put your attention back on present time, because when you're working with what is, when you're doing today's work today, this requires mental discipline, is what this requires. When you're oriented, you've got your tools, you're ready to execute, right? You have a thought. Well, here's my tools. Okay. And the thought is, here's the effect that I intend to have, compartmentalized into this time of work, this work period. Okay. And now, yeah, that doesn't feel angry or miserable or, aggrieved. That feels hopeful, enthusiastic, conservative, elated, right? Whatever, right? Wow, I'm going to get that done. That's going to move me in the direction of my bigger goals. Okay, great. So with expectancy and with a higher level of enthusiasm, we now act. We do productive action, and then we get to see the fruit of that. Look, I just got the contract done that I had to write. Okay, that is a done. Oh, done. What do I think about that being done? I know it's in the past and all, but it was 10 seconds ago. But what do I think about that? Oh, well, I rock. I'm good. Oh, how does that feel? Kind of like me. Okay, well, now that I just got something done, what else could I do? Oh, well, let's do that then. Upward spiral. There we go. This isn't rocket surgery, my friends. But what is definitely required is that we, as much as possible, remain in present time with this stuff. Now, if you're all frazzled and encumbered, we've talked about this before. There was a guy, Malcolm. You guys remember Malcolm from Wales? Yes, the Welsh guy, Malcolm, the sailor guy. Yeah, boats and everything. Last time I reached out to him, he was going through some stuff. But he lit up with this one idea that we had shared in one of our forums here. And I said, if you're all frazzled and encumbered and fixated and subjective and not here now, go leave your computer, go outside, look at trees, walk down the street. Oh, there's a stop sign. There's the bumper on a car. There's a bird, right? Oh, children. Oh, a sky. And just being in present time objectively with stuff, right? That doesn't require any evaluation, right? We don't need you to analyze the leaves on the tree or have an opinion about them. Just look and come back. 10 minutes, whatever it takes. Come back. And now get back to your work. And you know what we're going to find? We're going to find that it's like hitting the reset button. It's beautiful. It's so therapeutic, right? I've got to do this sometimes, right? So I'm thinking right now for all of us, how long we've been talking? 23 minutes. I'm thinking right now, I see Sharon's putting it in the chat. The book I'm reading now is called It Takes What It Takes. Got it. Perspective. Okay, I've not read that book, but maybe I will. Since I'm in the chat, let me go back up to Adrian. A man walks into a bar after the summer solstice and orders a quadruple vodka. The bartender asks, "Is everything all right?" The man sighs and says, "It's been a long day." Longest day of the year, my friends, or shortest if you're down under. But it's my wife and I's 6-month semi-anniversary, because we met on the darkest day of the year, the winter solstice. Yeah, so that's kind of a fun tidbit. We met on the darkest day of the year, and we've been living it ever since. Hey, Adrian, you've got your hand up. Come on out. Adrian.
Hey, John, can you hear me okay?
I can.
I thought we'd get a longer speech from you as it's the longest day, but you've shortchanged it. Should have been a longer session. Yeah.
Okay.
So no, it's a great topic, and it's one that I think there are two groups of people, John. There are aware people and unaware people. And I've been saying this for a long time, and I've talked to a great friend of mine about this many, many times. We come across people who just are not aware. They're not aware of the impact they have around them. They're not aware of the potential impact they could have around them. They're not aware of their links to other systems and people, and the things they can produce through those links, or what can be produced in their direction. They're not aware of present opportunities, what's actually happening. They just seem to be in a pond where the stone's dropped in, but there are no ripples. They just don't see the ripples. You know, they're the pebble, but they don't see anything else. So you just can't really grow beyond a certain point like that. In the studying we're doing, it's all about growing your understanding of those ripples going out from you and what's coming back and how they affect you and everybody else. And that's what makes the difference between an entrepreneur and someone that's just going through the motions in all the other discussions we've had about business and entrepreneurship. So great topic, John. I think it's absolutely crucial that we develop our awareness of our connections and our position in this giant universe, particularly when we've got a vast internet, World Wide Web around us that we can't even grasp. It's so large. You know, we have to look at the immediate, be in the present, as you say, and be very aware of what it is we do and why we do it and how we affect other people. And as you say, helping other people too, because remarkably, this web is a web. And if you pull on one string, it pulls on one somewhere else, and vice versa. When somebody pulls on one towards you, you have to interact, you have to connect. So yeah, it struck me a lot, John. I think it's a great topic.
Wow. Thank you, Adrian. So there's a bigger effect, and we're going to bring Sharon out next. There's a bigger effect that we may or may not recognize that we're having with each action we do in present time. Thank you, Adrian. Here is my friend Sharon, who is awesome. Hi, Sharon.
Hey guys, how are you today?
Good.
Wow, John, you covered so much ground today. It just, oh my gosh. And then Adrian, the comment you just made about us all being connected like in a web, as that web is woven, for some reason, a bicycle wheel popped into my mind, and all the spokes, you know, if we're at the center of that hub and all the spokes that go around, yet that wheel is spinning. So, I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but that just kind of popped in my head that we've got so many things holding our world together and so many prongs of that. And sometimes it can get spinning too fast and we crash, you know, and those spokes can get you know, damaged. Like I said, I'm not sure where I'm going with that. I haven't thought the whole thing out, but that's just the image that popped into my head. So John, I'll let you run with that one.
Can you give us an example of too fast and spokes and crashing? Like, is there a example of that in life that you can offer?
Well, I mean, as you and I were talking before the session started, you asked me what was going on this summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I started naming off, you know, my retail arbitrage. I planned a trip with my daughter, my 2 products coming from India. So just this morning, I was walking, listening to this book called It Takes What It Takes. And I received an email. And that email said, your money transfer is not ready yet. You've got to go do this and this and this to fix the problem. So I'm going from my walking, which I had to get in this morning, to listening to a book. And that the next spoke of the wheel grabbed my attention that I've got to get back home, get on my computer and fix this problem.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm literally trying to get back home, those wheels are spinning faster now. You know, they're all working together, but sometimes one part of that bicycle wheel or whatever is more important. And I've got to stop and readjust. You know, if I've got the tools, I've got to readjust that so that things stay in balance. So that's just kind of where my brain is going with this.
Sure. Thank you. Right. So, and because, you know, that is a present time opportunity. Here's a problem for Sharon to solve. She can just go ahead and solve it. Here's the stuff I got to do. Okay. But not get all crazy about it. Right. To just remain calm. Everyone remain calm. Right.
That's where my listening to that audiobook while I was walking, I thought to myself, I could just lose it right now. Oh my gosh, this transfer is not happening. My stuff's not going to get shipped. You know, I could have gone there, but just listening to that book reminded me that I've got to stay in check and not let the emotions overwhelm me. One of the stories he was relating this to was the Apollo 13 mission. And those 3 astronauts who had potentially catastrophic problem, and they had to work together. They had to stay in the moment, literally figuring out how to work their way out of a deadly situation. So, you know, I'm nowhere near that deadly situation, but our emotions can just really play with us and kind of mess us up for a while. And if I had gone too quickly, like this did happen on Friday, I went too quickly with a transfer, and I had to cancel the transfer of those funds and fix it today. But I had to wait because the bank does their thing. And over the weekend I was thinking, am I going to get upset about this and let it consume my family time and be distracted by this? No. I'm going to let it play out. And on Monday, I hit the road again. I solve whatever little problem this is, and I move on. So that's where my head is now today.
Beautiful. You were able to keep it present and compartmentalize. We're going to do tomorrow's work tomorrow. And yeah.
I tried.
Right. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, we're all on the path. Adrian's got some more thoughts about this. Adrian?
Yeah, listening to Sharon there, I love the bicycle wheel and the spokes analogy, because that's another part of the equation. It's being in the right wheel. You're one of the spokes, but a lot of other spokes, other people in that wheel. If you're in the wrong wheel, in the wrong room, in the present, it's going to hamper all your efforts, because the wheel will break. You got one bad spoke in your wheel, it's either going to hold you back, produce negative forces. Worse still, the wheel might not even turn. So yeah, I love that wheel analogy. We're one spoke in a room. We got to be in the room with the right people to keep moving forward and have the energy that it takes to make the wheel spin. So I love that, Sharon. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Adrian. Who else has some ideas about this? What's something that we can do to be present and to have an effect, which is the only time we can act is now, right? So we got to stay present so we can cause stuff to happen. Who else has some ideas on that? I do see, look at all these awesome people here. We got Carl and Cyril, Daisy, Edward, two Edwards, Ingrid, Ivier's here, Lindsay, Mandy, Sandy, Sharon. You guys got some thoughts you want to share on this?
Sure.
Hey, Edward.
How you doing?
Good.
Well, what's coming up for me about this whole thought process is that whatever it takes has to result in, we got to stop lying to ourselves, because that's what happens most of the time. Most of the time we, feel like we are doing all we can do, and we know we're not. Most of the time we have goals that we aren't true to, and we know ways of doing things, but we just don't do them. So and then we blame it all on procrastination, but in reality, it's just that we're lying to ourselves. So we've got to stop the lying and stop the BS, and just like you said, just in your face. And if you like it, great. If you don't, you'll get over it. You said that a long time ago. So the objective is to really, really, really get honest with yourself and just say, guess what? I'm all in. And regardless of what happens, I'm all in. Like the book says, it takes what it takes.
Thank you, Edward. Glad you're here, my friend. All right. Well, longest day of the year here in the Northern Hemisphere. We got lots of daylight left, unless you're over in England, and it's already coming up on what time it's coming up on there. We are going to have our e-commerce work group at let's see here. That's at 3 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, right? And so that's plus 5 hours for our friends across the pond. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern, so like 2 o'clock in the morning, we're going to have our book study group tonight, where we're going to be covering 3 more chapters of Psycho-Cybernetics. And those of you in England, definitely check out Books for Britain with my friend Mandy, who I see on screen right here. She's awesome, and she'll be covering some more of that with you this week. Anybody else before we wrap up for today? Anybody else before we get on with a killer Monday, an awesome Monday, the longest Monday of the year? Are we good? Last
I'm
call.
having a great Monday.
What's that, Ingrid?
I'm having a great Monday.
Of course you are, because you're Ingrid Matheson and you're awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, going good.
Nice. That's Ingrid, everybody. All right. Very good. We'll wrap up with that. We'll see you all at 3 p.m. Eastern for e-commerce work group those of you who are involved in e-commerce. And I will see you back here tonight at 9 Eastern for some more